Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to our Season 3 of the Customer Service Show. I'm Divanshi Arora, your host for today's episode. In Season 3 of the Customer Service Show, we are focusing on the rise of Agentic AI and its impact on modern support teams. From boosting agent independence to streamlining operations, we'll explore how AI is aligning with business goals to deliver faster, smarter customer service. So let's bring in all the energy and start. In today's session, we'll explore how Agentic AI Foundation is reshaping support operations. Hear real customer stories that show the impact of AI-driven knowledge, automation, and smarter agent experiences. So before we begin, introductions are in order. Introducing myself, I'm a product evangelist and principal customer success manager at SearchUnify. Passionate about enhancing user experiences, I drive product adoption, strategy to deliver cutting-edge solutions. With a focus on customer success, I help organizations harness AI-driven technologies for smarter support operations. We have our two esteemed guests here, Patricia and Francoise, here with us today, joining me for today's episode. Welcome to the show.
Hi everyone, my name is Patricia Lughezzani. I spent most of my career building and optimizing customer services organizations to facilitate growth and customer retention. Formerly, I was the Group Vice President of Customer Experience at Marketo and Global Head of Customer Support Strategy and Operations at Adobe. Currently, my consulting company, PL Support Solutions, focuses on customer success, community, premium support, and support optimization strategies. Over to you, Francoise.
Thank you, Patricia. I'm Françoise Tournière, or FT. I have written a number of books, including one called The Art of Support, and my consulting company is called FT Works. What we do is we help technology and healthcare companies improve everything that has to do with support or customer success.
Thank you, Patricia and Francoise. Francoise, I absolutely love that book. So we are happy to have you here. Great. So today's agenda focuses on how AI relies on a strong foundation built on data, security, and more to deliver accurate results and elevate customer support experiences. We'll also explore how SearchUnify is driving innovation with Agentic AI, along with global case studies that showcase real-world impact and transformation. So Patricia, to begin with, could you share your perspective on the key components that are required to build a robust foundation for Agentic AI? Particularly in the context of enterprise support environment?
Of course, implementing Agentic AI for customer service can dramatically improve customer service experience and results. And today we will discuss Agentic AI platform functionality. However, I wanted to start our discussion by saying we cannot forget about self-service basics. For complete, successful customer experience, we need to consider the following elements as we implement Agentic AI. Trust needs to be top priority, as security breaches can destroy brand, reputation, and be costly to repair and recover. Community quality and engagement continues to drive customer traffic and build loyalty, while adding Agentic AI will improve the experience and resolution rates. Data curation in the form of knowledge management is extremely important, as without accurate, relevant data, your Agentic AI will not be effective. Both community and AI agent features need to be enjoyable and intuitive. Follow-up in the form of human assistance needs to be quick and seamless. And last but not least, learning components such as onboarding tutorials and advanced learning will help customers make the most of the product and reduce the need for assisted support. So in the following few slides, I will discuss further on how trust, data, and follow-up components are essential for Agentic AI success. Because Agentic AI and Gen AI are new technologies, specific attention needs to be taken during implementation to follow responsible AI principles. There's several guidelines out there around responsible AI, but here are a few principles to consider. In addition to ensuring your platform is secure, it is essential to test results to maintain privacy. In other words, not exposing PII or customer-specific information. Robustness refers to being free of errors and downtime. Transparency is mostly associated with clearly displaying source links within the data results. Accountability is a guideline on clear lines of ownership for systems and data, and avoiding bias considers using neutral and unoffensive language in posted content. As a foundation for success, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of driving content quality and a complete knowledge management program. As without a complete and accurate content, both traditional search and agentic AI features will frustrate customers trying to find specific answers. Knowledge-centered service, or KCS, as outlined by the Consortium for Services Innovation, is the gold standard for knowledge management. At a high level, though, I do recommend having a designated person in the role of knowledge manager who owns the success of the program, and staffing dedicated content authors who can create and edit content coming from both AI and the technical team. Now, Françoise, you know a lot about KCS. Anything to add about the importance here?
I think you've nailed the first two. I would always talk about owner and content creators. I would add one more thing maybe, which would be change management. People can have a hard time embracing KCS because they think it's going to create stuff that's not completely validated, etc. So I think change management is pretty important.
Yeah, really good point. Excellent. Okay, so moving up to the next level here, I really want to emphasize about implementing a search platform with a large language model and also content generation capabilities. With this framework in place, AI agents can utilize a complete content library and effective Gen AI capabilities to provide customers with an amazing customer experience and results. As agentic AI capabilities evolve, more and more resolutions are accomplished by self-service and are deflected from human agent assignment, saving costs and increasing customer satisfaction. However, if the results are not provided by agentic AI, the best experience is to effectively transition the case to assisted support. This is best done by using AI to route unresolved cases to highly skilled support engineers who have all the self-service history. In addition, utilizing AI for sentiment analysis to predict customer frustration and initiate human interaction to resolve issues and avoid escalations. Lastly, using AI features to generate new content, assist with customer communication, and analyze content gaps. And as a bonus, shifting more and more resolutions to self-service and upskilling your support engineers can give your support organization the extra capacity to create or enhance premium support offerings. So Divanshi, how is SearchUnify helping customers implement agentic AI to improve the customer experience?
Absolutely, Patricia, and that's a great question with what you've just told, and we've experienced this journey all through. But before we actually innovated with agentic AI, our focus started with what fuels these agents. Our product and engineering teams realized early on that the success of AI-driven experiences is rooted in one key factor, and that is knowledge. But not just any knowledge, the right, relevant, and timely knowledge. As you can see on the slide, there are several challenges that organizations face in creating that foundation. It's difficult to capture tacit knowledge from agents during live interactions. Most of the teams lack tools that support the inflow of knowledge creation, making it a time-consuming process. There's often resistance among agents to contribute to knowledge due to workload or even unclear incentivization. Capturing voice of the customer is another major problem that we see with most of our clients, and this because the support content there is still limited. Teams also struggle to identify content gaps or visualize what is missing from the current knowledge base. And most importantly, there's often a lack of knowledge-first culture across the organization as a whole. So now when you think about who's actually creating this knowledge, and FT and you talked about this on one of the previous slides as well, it's the support agents, it's knowledge workers, and even support managers. So our goal is to empower these roles with intuitive tools and workflows that help surface, create, and reuse that knowledge without disrupting their daily flow. Because once you get the knowledge layer right, agentic AI can truly shine. That's what it is dependent on. So offering proactive suggestions, accurate answers, and improved decision making for every support interaction. So once we ensure that the right processes are in place to create knowledge, the next question becomes, is it the right knowledge? Are we going in the right direction? That's where knowledge visualization powered by AI comes in. So what you're seeing right here is a real-time example from our platform Nobbler, which is our KCS knowledge creation tool. This graph compares customer cases in yellow with the existing knowledge base articles in blue. So the goal is to show the overlap between what customers are asking and what knowledge already exists. In this case, the overlap is only 40%, which means 60% of the cases are not addressed by current KB articles. That's a huge gap and even a potential opportunity. So this visualization helps team quickly benefit and identify missing content, prioritize new content creation, and ensure that agents aren't left scrambling for answers that should already be there in their knowledge base. They should already be documented. So this is a powerful way that we came up with to let data guide your content strategy and continuously evolve your knowledge base based on real customer needs. So looking at the challenges that these support organizations were facing, be it knowledge creation, content gaps, or agent productivity, we actually launched our Agentic AI library to solve these pain points head on. This library includes a wide range of specialized AI agents, each built on to tackle a specific support function, like level 1 and level 2 AI agents, a knowledge AI agent, escalations manager, CSAT analyst, and even an AI product feedback analyst. What makes this setup more powerful is that it is built on top of our LLM intelligence layer, which supports bring your own models, giving you the flexibility to plug the LLM of your choice. And all of these agents are powered by our insights engine, which connects to your internal tools like your CRM ticketing, your bug trackers, knowledge bases, even tools like Salesforce or SharePoint. So essentially, it is a connected ecosystem in place that not only understands your data, but also activates it to deliver real-time, contextual, and intelligent support information across functions, not just customer support, but even functions like sales, marketing, HR, and even IT. So now that we've seen how Agentic AI supports teams internally, let's take a look at how it empowers the end user. So what you're about to see is a quick demo of our Agentic Self-Service Hub that is designed with a sleek, minimal UI powered by SearchUnify's FRAG model and integrated with an intelligent front door framework for effortless navigation. So what that really means is that it will identify what your customers are saying and then give an answer accordingly. It leverages low-cost LLMs to deliver seamless, contextual support, giving users exactly what they need and when they need it. So let me just play this quick video and walk you through how it really works. So this is a sleek UI where a customer comes in and writes in a query, and it will greet you after you've said hello. So for separate queries or for standard queries like a question that you're connecting Salesforce as a content source in SearchUnify, it is looking through various multiple sources and giving you a direct answer. Now, if the customer is frustrated and he comes in with a different kind of problem, you'll see that it is not directing the customer to self-service. It is actually looking at the sentiment and prompting the customer to create a case there and then. So, with the smart interface, it is also letting you know the status of your case if you come back to this environment after 2 days. So this was just a very quick glimpse of what the platform is and some of the use cases covered here. But the platform as a whole will understand what the customer needs at that point in time, looking at their sentiment, looking at the nature of the query. And that is how Agentic AI will become successful, because it is serving the end user with what they really need. Right. So now to bring this to life further, Francoise, based on your global experience, how are organizations actually leveraging Agentic AI? Because I just talked about SearchUnify, we would love to know how other organizations are using it to solve real world support challenges. Could you share some success stories, for example?
Happy to do it, Divanshi. Thank you very much. So I am going to share a number of examples drawn from my customers. Some customers use SearchUnify, some do not. But for all of these case studies, I'm going to share a little bit about the challenge the organization was facing, then what they did, how it came out. And at the end of each, I will have a best practice that I hope can be useful for our listeners. So for this first one, I am going to talk about article creation. So Patricia was talking about the foundation for all of this AI initiative. And she was saying that content was number one, and that's what this is all about. One of the things that's very interesting in this particular case study is the fact that it's actually a smaller company doing this. We tend to see these case studies with huge companies with lots of resources, and they're very exciting, of course, but I think it's wonderful that even smaller companies can do that. So in this particular situation, this particular organization had a lot of agents whose first language was not English. And as a result, they were a little shy about writing documents, even though they were dealing with customers all the time. There was a certain reluctance there. So the solution they came up with was to use AI to create articles. The sequence is that the agent decides whether to create an article or not. In the future, they could have actually the tool decide, but right now the agent decides. And the tool goes out and looks at all the notes in the case and creates an article, automatically removing any kind of customer information, which is really important, of course, and also following the content standard exactly. And we know agents find that kind of boring, so the tool is doing it for them. And then it goes to a human being, and the human being approves or doesn't approve the article before publishing. The outcome has been absolutely wonderful in the sense that, first of all, there's many, many more articles created, and that was the goal and definitely was met. And the second outcome was that about 90% of articles written by AI are approved as is, which is quite wonderful.
Hey, Françoise, I'm really surprised to see this 90%. It's an outstanding outcome. You know, what I've seen typically is people are a little skeptical that AI can generate articles. Was this your experience with this team?
So to tell you the truth, I was amazed too. I didn't quite believe it at the beginning. I think that AI does have a magic power today, which is summarization. We've seen that in case summaries, and we see that in articles. So your mileage will vary, right? Don't think that it's going to be 90% every time, but yeah, this is what they are seeing. And there was reluctance at the beginning. This is my best practice now. At the beginning, people thought, oh my God, this is going to create crap, right? To use a technical term. What this particular organization did is it relied on a few champions, people who were really excited about AI, and they said, try it. And they tried it, and all of a sudden their KB numbers went up, and everybody else was like, hey, can I have it too? So it really worked very well. Again, don't think it's going to be 90% from the get-go, but the summarization capabilities of AI have impressed me, I must say.
Right.
So that's
and
the
this is
first
the same kind
example.
of success we've seen with Nobler as well, FT. You know, when we were launching this application, when it was in its pilot, it has gone out to customers. We've seen a similar kind of success that they saw as well, where they weren't initially relying on the automatic KB creation, but now they're happy and their numbers have gone up.
Yeah, exactly. So by the way, I think it's still good to have a human review this, because every once in a while you have one that's just strange and should not be published. But 90%.
Well, that's kind of why we talked about having the human program in place, having that knowledge manager there. So if you have a knowledge manager and then be able to facilitate the curation of the knowledge, and then have an AI agent that's creating a lot of articles, then you can really, you know, create and maintain a lot of content and have it grow over time.
Correct. Yeah. All right, so we talked about creation. Now we're going to talk about consumption. In this particular example, the company had been expecting a very large uptick in customers, and they did get it, by the way. And they knew that even though the customer base was going to grow tremendously, they had exactly 0 extra headcounts in support. So that's a big problem. So what they did is they went to a chatbot. So they did two things. One was put in place a chatbot, which was the customer experience, right? And also they did a lot of work on the knowledge base that was feeding this particular chatbot. And in the end, they had an amazing progress. So the customer base grew a lot. Now, it grew by a lot of smaller customers. So yes, it was 4 times as large, but lots and lots of small customers. And as we know, small customers can be quite costly to service, right? And at the same time, the volume of cases, so assisted support, went down just a bit, but still it was marvelous, right, compared to the growth in customers. So big success here. The interesting thing here is, Patricia, you were talking about people being not sure that AI was going to work, right? In this situation, it was the customers that were not sure. The existing customers didn't really want to have a chatbot. So for a while, they used what I call here a belt and suspenders approach, which is to offer both, right? You want to use the standard search interface that you've been using? Sure, here it is. You can have it, right? You want to use the chatbot? Here it is. And over time, what they found is that people migrated to the chatbot because it was working actually better. And today they have discontinued the traditional search experience. But again, a great success. That was case study number 2. Case study number 3 is also on the consumption side. So this one is definitely a very large company. And this particular company has operations in countries where people do not really embrace the idea of English-only knowledge base. So for the longest time, they were translating everything in multiple languages. And any of us who have dealt with translations know that, one, it's costly, and second, keeping track of all the updates and keeping everything synced is very expensive. And it had gone to a point with this particular customer where they were actually throttling updates because they did not have the bandwidth to do the translations. I mean, that's just a sin in support, right? to withhold knowledge because we just can't translate it. So they decided to just stop doing it, right? They decided to offer on-the-fly translation, which today has very good quality. Not perfect, not what a professional translator can do, but certainly good enough for most people to consume it, right? And at the same time, they are continuing to identify a small core of articles that they will professionally translate and professionally maintain, right? Because those are the ones that are most used. By doing that, they were able to increase CSAT for customers in other languages, right? Who could use whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, and save a bundle on translation costs. So the lesson here to me is that you don't have to do either or. You don't have to say, well, we will do everything professionally and incur a large cost, or we do things entirely AI and have maybe a slightly lower quality. You could do both, and by identifying those top articles. So
That's
another
great.
success.
Right.
So the last case study is totally different. It really is not on stage, right? It's really behind the scenes, right? It's all about calculating case costs automatically. So as we know, especially with complex software, it's really difficult to calculate the cost of an individual case. Many of my customers have tried doing that over the year by doing things like, well, we'll put priority of the case in there, and we'll count the number of interactions, and we'll talk about the time to resolution, and we'll turn the wheel, and somehow it'll give us a number, and the number's never right. And of course, if you try to get people to track their time, that in itself is a very unpleasant experience. So what they tried to do is to say, okay, can we use AI to do this? They had 3 goals, and as we will see, one of them was met and the other ones are happening, but not quite done yet. So the goal number 1 was, can we use this in real time, right? Not after the fact, right? In real time. Can we use this to detect cases that are starting to cost a lot of money? Because we think that, you know, the support engineer might be lost, stuck, need help, right? And second, we also know that customers are more likely to escalate when things take a long time and a lot of effort. So that was the first goal was potential escalations. The second goal was to do voice of the customer, so feature requests. So the idea was to capture the cost of managing a particular area feature of the product, right? And using that as motivation for the product team to make some changes to the product. And then the third goal was to identify high costs to serve customers. So we all know those guys who need a lot of help, and they continue to need a lot of help. And maybe we need to have a custom offer for them of training, of help, of maybe revisiting the use cases that they are using. So they implemented that tool, and they had an immediate result of many fewer escalations. So the tool actually was able to say, oh, there's a problem with this case, please do something. And then the managers could step in, offer help, and the escalation was avoided. In terms of product wins or customer success wins, we think they are going to occur. It's going to take a little bit longer to be able to do that, but they are certainly on the horizon, at least. So the reason why I wanted to have this one is to really encourage our listeners to not just think about the immediate customer experience, what's in front of the customer, but what we are doing backstage to orchestrate that and to make sure that the customer experience can actually be ideal. And with that, I'll send it back to you, Patricia.
Thank you, Francoise. Super interesting customer stories. Appreciate that and sharing those stories with us. Okay, so to wrap things up, I hope you enjoyed our conversation on how Agentic AI can enhance the customer experience. Our key takeaways are making sure to have a solid foundation and complete and accurate content with the search and retrieval framework to facilitate Agentic AI success. Taking advantage of best practices for using Agentic AI to supercharge your customer support experience. How SearchUnify is enabling knowledge management and Agentic AI features. And finally, how companies are implementing innovative Agentic AI use cases. Divanshi, you want to wrap it up?
Absolutely. Thank you, Patricia, for taking these takeaways. And I want to thank you both for joining this webinar. It has been truly insightful. With that, we bring this episode to an end. So once again, thank you, Patricia, for sharing the valuable insights, and Francoise for sharing your real-life experience and case studies. If you have any questions or feedback related to this episode, we would love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to us at customerserviceshow@searchunify.com. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay inspired, and keep supporting your customers with excellence. We'll catch you in the next episode of the Customer Service Show Season 3, that is redefining case deflection. So do not forget to tune in for that one. Till then, see you all and take care.